I already told you, Mark, it's just a coworker, she said, her voice tied as she buttered the toast. But I didn't buy it, not this time. It was a Saturday morning sunlight, slipping weakly through the kitchen blinds, the smell of coffee, filling the air. Our son, Ethan, sat at the table, swinging his legs and stirring his cereal absent-mindedly. Normally, mornings like this were calm, ordinary. But that morning, every sound, the scrape of the knife, the clink of the spoon, felt like a countdown. I had seen the text the night before. I can't stop thinking about you tomorrow, no name, just a number. But I'd recognize the pattern of her smile. When she read it, the same half-hidden grin she used to give me years ago. So when I asked, "Who is he?" I already knew there was someone, I just didn't know who or how deep it went. Sarah froze mid-motion. The toast burned slightly, smoke curling up from the edge. She didn't turn around. "Mark, not now, please," she whispered. And then before she could say another word, Ethan looked up from his cereal and said, "You mean Uncle Ryan?" The world went quiet. Sarah's hand dropped the knife. It clattered against the counter. My pulse pounded so loud I could barely hear my own breathing. "Uncle Ryan," I repeated, staring at our son. "Who's Uncle Ryan?" Ethan blinked, confused by my tone. "Mom's friend. He comes over when you're working late. He plays video games with me. Sometimes he bought me that new Lego set, remember?" He said it so innocently, so casually, like it was the most normal thing in the world. And Sarah, my wife of 9 years, finally turned. Round eyes wide and wet lips trembling. "Mark, it's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, every night has felt like a replay of that morning. My mind looping through every late shift, every unexplained smile, every time she'd gone quiet when her phone buzzed. I used to think betrayal was loud, a fight, a slam door, broken plates. But it's not. It's quiet. It's the sound of a lie slipping into your daily routine until you can't tell which parts were ever real. Sarah tried to explain. She said Ryan was a friend from work, that things just got too close, that she'd been lonely, that I hadn't been around enough. I listened. I even wanted to believe her. But the truth had already carved its place inside me, raw and permanent. It wasn't the cheating that hurt most. It was at ease with which he brought him into our home, into Ethan's life. The fact that our son knew his name, his face, his laugh, that he saw him as family, while I worked overtime trying to build one. A few nights later, after Ethan was asleep, I sat in the living room with Sarah. The silence was thick, heavy. "Do you love him?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. That pause, that hesitation was enough. "I thought I did," she said quietly. "But it's not that simple." I nodded. "Not simple. Nothing about betrayal ever is," she said. She wanted to fix things, go to counseling, start fresh. But the word fresh sounded ridiculous. You can repaint a wall, but the cracks underneath don't disappear. Still, I didn't yell. I didn't throw her out. I didn't even cry, not in front of her anyway. I just watched her, watch the way she avoided eye contact, the way she picked at her cuticles, the way guilt lived on her face like a second skin. That's when I realized something. She wasn't afraid of losing me. She was afraid of losing him. The revenge wasn't planned, it just unfolded. A week later, I called Ryan. I told him I knew. He didn't deny it. He even tried to justify it, said he didn't mean to cross boundaries, that it just happened. I told him I wanted to meet man to man. I said we met at a cafe downtown. He looked nervous, like a kid caught stealing. I handed him a photo. "Ethan holding the Lego set." This, I said quietly, "is the kid whose family you walked into, the kid who calls you Uncle Ryan." He didn't say a word, just stared at the picture. Then I told him something else, that I'd already spoken to HR at their company, that workplace relationships violated their ethics policy. I didn't yell or threaten. I just let the information sink in. By Monday, he was gone, transferred. Sarah found out that evening. She cried, not because of the job, but because she knew what I'd done. "You wanted to destroy him," she said. "No, I replied I just wanted him to feel what I felt losing something he thought he'd keep. Since then, our house has been quiet, not peaceful, just quiet. We still do breakfast together, mostly for Ethan's sake. But now every morning feels like walking through an echo, the sound of laughter replaced by the scraping of spoons and the ticking of the clock. Sometimes I catch her looking at me as if waiting for me to say, I forgive her. But I can't, not yet, maybe not ever. I still wear my ring, though not as a symbol of love, but as a reminder that even the strongest things can bend, that sometimes love doesn't end with a bang. It fades quietly like coffee going cold in a cup no one bothers to drink. Last Sunday, Ethan and I went for